Welcome to Tentative Title with Tim. This is a podcast about creativity, about process, about filmmaking, and about screenwriting. Alright, welcome back to the podcast. I hope everybody's been doing well this past week. Since the last time I talked to you guys. Today is the first day of winter, and I know this because I looked at my calendar and it said the first day of winter, and yeah, I would not know that unless I looked at my calendar, because that's not really something I keep track of, but for some reason it is always something. It's always a day that catches me off guard, and my wife will remind me that, hey, it's the first day of this or the first day of that, and I'm like, that's great. Was it on the calendar? Yes. Oh, okay. Yeah. So, I don't really keep track of those things very often, but it is kind of nice to know that time is passing by and that we're going from fall into winter, and soon we'll be in a new year. But also, speaking of time passing by, this is the week that Christmas is happening, and it's been a tough year, I have to say. Like I know everybody has been struggling this year. I lost my job back in March, as I'm sure a lot of other people did, and that was this was kind of this was the first year that I've not been employed for like 20 years or something. Like, I've always had a job in some capacity since I got out of high school, and it's a very weird feeling to not have a job to go to not have to, I guess, worry about going to work, but that's not actually what's happening. It's just this wanting to go to work, but feeling like if I do, that I might be putting people in danger, and that's something that has not really. I've never had a job where that has been the case. It's always been go to work, do the job, and then come home, and then go to the job again and again and again, and earn a living. And that's what I expected to do, and until I reached an age where I could possibly retire if that was the case. But no, that didn't happen, and that didn't happen to a lot of us. But because of that, I'm not trying to make this a negative episode or anything, but it has been hard to have, I guess you could say, Christmas cheer during this time, and it's something that I've been struggling with, and it's I think if anything, the fact that there has been some positive news coming out the last couple weeks about a vaccine, about how there is an end, whatever that means. That could mean that that we end up having this coronavirus around like the flu, in which we get vaccinated every year like we do the flu. Or it can mean a complete eradication of it, but I believe it's going to be more of the containing of it than it is of the eradication of it. But anyway, it's been some positive news. It means that there's a light at the end of the tunnel. For us, like normal working people, it's going to be probably in the middle of next year that it's going to that the vaccine will actually get to us. But at least I know that I can look forward to it. At least I know that there is an end in sight, and so that's been very encouraging. The other thing that has happened this year is that our sense of tradition has kind of gone out the window. So, back in March, when I think the first holiday that was on the calendar was Easter, and we usually have a big get together with my wife's family, and we do the Easter egg hunt with like all the kids, and it just we get together. We're a family. We have a barbecue. We have the Easter egg hunt. We talk, and we catch up with what each other are doing. And we didn't get that this year. And we didn't get that with the 4th of July, and we didn't get that with Thanksgiving. Although with Thanksgiving, we tried to decorate the house a little bit, and we did have a Zoom call with family, so that helped, but it was no replacement for the actual Thanksgiving that we usually do every year. And now it's Christmas time, and luckily we have a lot more that informs the season. We went into a lockdown like a week ago, and before the lockdown happened, we were able to get our tree, and we set it up, and we put ornaments on it and lights, and the kids helped, and it felt like normal again. And we decorated the house, and it feels like Christmas, and it feels normal again. And we drive around the neighborhood, and there are people who have lights on their houses, and it feels like normal again. And there's a street that we always go to that every single house has lights on it and decorations in the front yard, and it becomes an event. Like for that neighborhood, there are people like that street gets clogged with cars, and people are walking along looking at the houses like it's this big event, and they have like a Santa there, and people are giving out hot chocolate, and it's just this nice community event that happens every year. And we drove by there like a couple weeks ago, and we were delighted to see that people were still putting lights up, and they were putting decorations up, and it felt like normal again. It was like, this is still happening. There's still hope in the world. People still want to celebrate. They still want to be uplifted. This is still happening. Christmas is not canceled, and that was very encouraging. So another part of this is that we've also been watching a lot of Christmas movies, like more Christmas movies than we usually watch. Because during Christmas time, we're really busy. I'm working, my wife is working. We'll go to some parties with friends, or, we'll have Secret Santa parties or whatever. We're shopping, to get presents for people. The season gets filled up, and we don't always watch all of the movies and the shows that we want to watch during Christmas time. But since we've been home, we've been watching a lot more, and we've been discovering a lot of I guess like recent classics. If that is even a thing, I don't know if you can consider something that came out last year a classic. But we've been discovering some other movies that we wouldn't have discovered if we, if it was a normal time and we didn't have time to really, not get in our usual block of movies that we like to watch every year. And it's been really weird because not only are we discovering some new classics for the future, but I've been very, very tempted to watch the Hallmark Christmas movies. And, it's been a tough year. And so I know that those movies are cookie cutter, and they're schlock, and they're just like, they're they are what they are. You know, you turn on a Hallmark movie, you know what you're gonna get. There's not gonna be any surprises, and it's just it is what it is. But I've been very, very tempted to watch some of these movies, and I haven't I haven't watched them yet, but like I'm very close. It's tempting me. Like come Tim, come, like watch these movies. It'll make you feel better. It'll give you a sense of like Christmas spirit and hope, you know. And I'm like, yeah, I know. Maybe the month is not over yet, so I might end up watching one or two, depending. But anyway, that, you know, being able to add some other movies that aren't Hallmark to our repertoire of Christmas movies has been actually really exciting, because you know, we kind of stick to the you know, our classics, our old reliables, and it can get to be like, I don't want to say it gets boring, but you know, it's one of those things, like, we don't watch these movies at all during the year, and so when it's time to like watch them again, my brain has this switch that turns on where it's like, hey, let's watch this, and I'm like, oh, I've already just replayed the entire movie in my head because I've watched it so many times. But this year has actually been kind of different. I've been able to find some things that I didn't see the first 100 times I've seen some of these movies. You know, I've kind of looked at them differently, and it could be that I'm getting older. It could be that I've seen them enough times that I'm starting to like just pick it apart, because, you know, when you're a filmmaker, you kind of start picking things apart because you want to know how it's put together. And the more you learn about how movies are put together, the more you pick movies apart, and it can be extremely difficult to watch a movie when your mind is trying to pick apart the movie while you're also trying to enjoy the movie, which I guess is why when a movie is really good, it transcends that entire part of, you know, your brain. You're just kind of like, if the movie's really good, you give yourself over to it. You let the story and the characters take you away, and you go on this journey, whatever that journey may be. And that ends up being a great film because you don't stop to think about it. You are just experiencing the story. So, you know, I want to say that this year could end on a positive note. And that's what I hope that, at least, I mean, I hope that, you know, at least my year ends positively, and it does feel like it's heading that way, regardless of the kind of year I've had. But I really hope that the same happens for you guys. Like I said, a lot of people lost their jobs. I lost my job. A lot of people not only lost their jobs, but, you know, lost businesses. They lost loved ones. 2020 has been a year of substantial loss. And I know it's going to be hard to want to celebrate anything. I mean, I'm thoroughly convinced that a lot of people just said, you know what, the hell with Christmas this year. It's not happening. I mean, regardless of what we see on the news, where, you know, people are still out shopping at malls and stuff like that. And, you know, like people are out shopping, and because shopping makes you feel better. You know, you're out spending money, and sometimes you don't have money, but you're like, you know, I will feel a lot better if I know that I can walk into a store and just buy something, you know. But apart from that, I want to encourage everybody that no matter where you are, no matter what has happened this year for you, that if you can just find somebody that you can do something positive for, you know, in the spirit of Christmas, that it's not about the gifts. It's not about any of these like superficial things, but it's about being together with one another. It's about giving a kind word, writing a card and sending it to somebody. It's about these small gestures that show a fellow human being that they matter, that they are being, that they are on somebody's mind, that somebody cares. Because that's been the other part of this year, is that it feels like since we've been so, separated from each other, like, yeah, we're on Zooms and everything, and we're able to kind of like text and there is like this digital connection that's happening, but it's like, it's also a disconnect. Like our bodies are, our physiological body, like our bodies need to be in the presence of other human beings. And this is coming from an introvert. This is coming from somebody who would rather like shut himself in than, go out to a party or go out, and take a walk around the block. Like I feel that loneliness. I feel that I need other human beings, in my life. And thank goodness I have my family in the house that if I'm feeling this way, I can talk to, and I can, I can give them a hug if I need to, I can, just tell them what's on my mind. Because if I didn't have that, I honestly don't know, like, if I would have been able to make it out of 2020. It's that serious. It's that much of a need that I feel that all of us have, just as a basic part of being alive. And so if there's anything that we can come out of this year with, it would be just to let somebody out there know that they matter to you. No, even if it's like a professional colleague, just like, hey, you know what? Thank you for those notes on that script. Hey, you know what? Thank you for making that film. It really inspired me, like just somewhere. And if we do that enough, that we can kind of like raise the spirit of everybody by the end of this year. And, going into 2021, sure, there's not going to be a switch that's going to click on New Year's Eve. Obviously, that's not going to happen. That never happens, because that's just not how time works, and that's not how the world works or life works. But it does give us a chance to reset our goals, reset what we want to do in the coming year, to strive for something better. Something I've tried in the last like 4 years or so is that I've been tracking my goals every single year, and I come back to it every New Year's Day, and I say, okay, what happened last year? What did I accomplish? What didn't I accomplish? Let's move those items, into the new list. What are new things I want to try to accomplish this year? And, even though 2020 was mostly a wash, I feel like I came out with, like, I wrote 2 feature screenplays at the beginning of the year, before everything went into lockdown, before the pandemic. And just now, I finished the first draft of another feature script. It's like, there's still time, to accomplish something with this year, to still do something that will set you up for a better 2021. And I want to encourage that. But I feel like I'm rambling here, but the whole point is that because it's Christmas, because, even if you don't even celebrate Christmas, if you celebrate some other holiday, I just encourage, like, connecting with somebody, and giving something small to that other person, to let them know that they matter. that they're seen, that they're important to this world. So anyway, guys, yeah, that's all I got. So yeah, Merry Christmas if you celebrate that. If you celebrate something else, like I'm there in spirit. Like, yeah. Celebration. Let's get in the mood for celebration, if we can. But other than that, once again, wear the mask, social distance, wash your hands or sanitize. The end is in sight, and I know we want the end to happen right now. It may be some months before we can consider it to be an end, or whatever that means. But eventually we will look back at 2020 and say, wow, that was one hell of a year where everything fell apart, but we rallied. We went into 2021 and, we put things back together, and now we're stronger than we were before. That's the only thing I can hope for. That's what I tried to do every day. It's what I try to keep in mind, no matter how dire things seem to be. It's always a baseline that I try to maintain, regardless. So, anyway, guys, I don't know if this is my last episode for this year. I kind of want it to be the last episode because this is episode 30. It's a nice round number to stop at, and then I can pick up next year for, I guess, we could call it a season 2. And yeah, I guess we can do seasons with this thing. So we'll see. All right, guys, until the next one. Also, if you haven't done this already, I have a Twitter account for the podcast. It's at title_Tim. And I also have a Facebook page as well, and you can subscribe to that, and I will put episodes up there and any updates. So yeah, come on by, say hi, and yeah. Till the next one.